As we continue, we turn to a topic that lies at the heart of the diaspora's economic impact. Well, it's economic leadership. Across the world, Senegalese professionals are shaping industries, they're driving investments, they're managing complex financial structures, and they're influencing strategic growth. The question before us today is, how do we channel this financial expertise into meaningful collective progress for our global community? Our next speaker, Thierno Fall, is a managing director in tax at BDO USA, and he brings over a decade of experience advising hedge funds, private equity clients, and asset management organizations. His work spans state and local tax strategies, fund structures, and financial compliance, and he holds CPA licenses in both New York and New Jersey. Before joining BDO, he spent 8 years at Ernst & Young in tax leadership roles and holds a Master in Taxation from Baruch College. Please join me in welcoming Thierno Fall to speak on how, as a diaspora, we can unlock the economic potential that we have access to. Welcome, Thierno.
Hello everyone. I kind of prepare a speech too, but since everybody's speaking freestyle, I will try to do the same. But I don't want to read a speech and bore you to death. So, as Elijah mentioned, my name is Thierno. I am a CPA. So, I'm going to tell you two anecdotes. So, the first one is when I was 1 year old, my father left Senegal and came to the US. So, we were farmers, so we have large fields right outside of Kira. So I was a farmer, and most of our people, most of the time they would just, growing peanuts. We didn't have like a formal education. So one of the biggest change in my life was the fact that my father came here, and he invested a lot in my education, because in my village, most of the people did not. Thank you. In my village, most of the people did not have a formal education. So most of the people didn't have formal education. So I was lucky to be selected by my father to go to French school. And from there, I spent 20 years there in Senegal, and I came here after I finished high school. Then when I finished high school, I came to the US. And a lot of us, when we came to the US, we have to make a choice. Are we going to go back? Are we going to stay here? So we have a lot of decisions that we have to make. But the problem is, if you are undecided, you cannot move forward. Most of the time, you move back between, I want to go to Senegal, I want to stay here. So when I originally came, the first choice that I have to make was what I want to do. So what I wanted to do was pretty much to go back and build and help build the Senegal. But the issue is, when you graduate from school, you think that you are knowledgeable, but a lot of times, I didn't know anything. So I had a master's degree, I was a CPA, I passed the exam. But when I went to EY in 2012, we have these clients, they manage, I work in asset management, and asset management, we have a lot of clients. So they manage money for pension funds, they manage money for high net worth individuals. So pretty much all of the wealthiest people in America, we manage their money. So I'm in the tax side, so we do a lot of their accounting, we do a lot of their tax. But one thing that I know is that when I was there, I was not really knowledgeable after you finished college. So the question that I said to myself, how can I go back to Senegal if I don't know anything? So I just decided to get a job and stay here and work. And after I worked for so many years, I realized that I like this place and I don't want to go back anymore. And the reason why I don't want to go is not that I go to Senegal all the time. Sometimes I go twice a year. But the question that you have to ask is that if you go back there, what impact are you going to have? If you go there, like when I graduated, I didn't know anything. So if I go there, I won't be able to help. So the decision that I made was to stay here, get some experience, and try to build capital. Then, if I have a lot of money and a lot of connection, you can probably create a fund and go to Senegal and try to help them. That would be more impactful. So that's what I was thinking about, because I'm an accountant, so I'm going to give you some numbers. So last year, we as a diaspora in America, everywhere in the world, we sent $3 billion in Senegal. Like all of the money that we sent to Sendwave and all of those WhatsApp requests that we receive every day, we sent $3 billion. Can someone tell me the budget of the Senegalese government? Exactly. So we pretty much sent about half of the Senegalese budget. So we, with the hospital, we help these people, entrepreneurs in Senegal, we send a lot of money. So, and also we are about the amount of money that we send is about 10% of the Senegalese economy, because the Senegalese GDP is about 30 billion. We are about 10% of it. So we contribute about 10% to the Senegalese economy. And the budget of Senegal, we probably send like half of it. So imagine if we didn't send that money. Now, if you look at it, there are a lot of generation of immigrants. So if you look at the Chinese, if you look at people from Ireland, if you look at people from India, what they do is that they come here, they build network, they raise capital, and they put all of that money back in their home country, and they end up becoming very wealthy. So what they do first is that make sure they are financially stable before they go back and invest. Because the problem is that if you come here and you say you want to help Senegal, and yourself you are not able to make a meaningful impact. I know we send a lot of money because people have to eat, sometimes people they are sick. But the impact that we want to have can have it is that we have to have a lot of power. And that power is money. I know we grew in a society where sometimes money is taboo, we don't want to talk about it, but money runs the world. If you're sick, you need money. If you want to eat, you need money. If you want to send kids to good school, you need money. If you want to live in a nice neighborhood, you need money. So anything that we need, you need money. So it's a good thing to talk about money, because I know in our family sometimes we don't want to talk about it because we grew up in families where money is always a problem. But I think we have to have some sort of financial education, because if you have financial education, it's going to help you grow. Because when I finished my bachelor, I was thinking about, as I told you, I was thinking about going back to Senegal, but I made an investment to get my master's degree that allowed me CPA, then go to, and it has transformed my life, and has taken me to places that I wouldn't be if I didn't make that investment. It cost me a lot of money to get that education, but that education is going to be the thing that's going to transform our life. So let me just go through certain ways that people build wealth in America. So if you look at the richest people in America, their wealth is concentrated in a few areas. So you might have like an entrepreneur like Bezos or Musk or Bill Gates and all of these people, but what they did was they just have an idea. But if you have an idea, what is the next step? So there are several ways that you can grow wealth. So let's say if you are working right now and you are professional, like where I work, so they give you option to invest in a 401k. You can open an IRA, you can start savings. So one thing that happened in our community, because we have to help a lot of people back home, we spend a lot of time not worrying about ourselves. And I think the most important person in our life should be ourselves first, because if you are well, everybody who's around us is going to do. So, and the way you do that is you have to be financially independent in order to do that. A lot of people that I work with, by the time they are retired, they are just simple accountants. They bore you with a lot of numbers. Our life is not that exciting. I saw somebody who was an engineer, I think, you work at Boeing, so I don't have the brains for that. I think that's way smarter than being an accountant. An accountant is just reading the numbers, looking at the tax rules and applying that and giving advice and doing planning. It's not really, I think the engineers require a lot more brain power than we do. But a lot of the accountants that I work with, by the time that they retire, they will be millionaires. How do they do it? They graduate from college at 25, and every month they take a certain amount and just put it in the stock market. They take a certain amount, put it in their 401k. They take a certain amount, put it in their IRA, and just forget it. If someone texts you from Senegal, look at it, just put the money there. just leave it there. And by the time you retire, you're a millionaire. Because a lot of people, what they do is that they don't think about retirement, they just want to help, they want to help. But one thing we have to do is that we are here, we work hard. We don't know if we want to go back or not. Most of us want, to be honest, because if you look at the generation of immigrants that came to America, you say we're going to go back, but we never go back. Some people will go back, but a lot of us will stay here, or by the time we go back, we're already retired. So while we are here, we just have to make sure that we invest in ourselves. One thing you do is the stock market is there. You have the richest people in America, all of them, their money is in the stock market. You can look at the stock that you are interested in. If you don't know the stock that you are interested in, they have some indexes, which is they just take the entire market, create an index. And if you don't want to monitor it, you just put a certain amount and just forget about it. But I can guarantee by the time you are 50 and 60, you are investing in the American economy. So if the American economy grows, you're going to make money. Unless the US economy go to hell, then you lose your money. But for the most part, a lot of people, they invest in America. And the other thing that other people do, I don't know if anybody is super wealthy here. So the people that I work with, unfortunately, I don't have money, but they have a lot of money. So what they do is, let's say if private equity is just you buy a private company. Let's say if someone has a company that is doing very well, and let's say you have a restaurant, and you have a restaurant, you've been running it, and you need, let's say, $1 million to scale it, or open a new one, or open a franchise. What you do is that you create an entity, you pull a bunch of investors, everybody put $10,000, $20,000, and you pull that money, and you invest it. And the same strategy that you can use in a restaurant that you use for $1 billion company. What they do is that they have a bunch of investors, everybody has money, and they go to the bank, and they put all of their resources, and they just invest. And they are able to have a lot of capital, they create a lot of network, and they are able to make change. Because if everybody is in their corner and just have their own ideas and we're not coming together, and that's why I love the mission of the organization is bringing people together. Other communities, they have a lot of network that they use. They have capital. They are able to have power in the US, in the government. So that's what they do in order to increase their power. And as the Senegalese community, we are extremely smart. We have people from, as this group shows, we have people from every field. So whatever we can do it. So the only thing we have to do is just make sure that we build the wealth. The people that are here just figure out a way to build the wealth, come together, and if we have a project, as they say in World of we come and we dominate. And that's what we have to do. And I'm very thankful for Eli for inviting me today. If you have any questions, let me know, but thanks everybody.
Thank you so much for that. That is truly appreciated. So as we continue, we now turn to another driver that shapes every modern industry and unlocks opportunities across borders, and that is technology. Technology is what enables innovation at scale. It is what allows ideas to travel instantly across continents. And it is what gives our community, especially our youth and entrepreneurs, the tools to build, to create,